Good morning, everyone. It is indeed a great pleasure to be standing here today for the first time as the CEO of the ARF, a very important and venerable organization. I wanted to use this occasion to give you a brief glimpse of how I view the job and the course that I would like to set for the ARF. As Jed said, I'm in the very early days. I have some views. I would very much like to hear from you about your views as well, but this is sort of a starting point from where I'm coming from. I follow, of course, in the steps of many illustrious past presidents of the ARF, but today I would like to single out for special mention my two immediate predecessors, since I'm largely going to be building on what they have bequeathed. Bob Baracci re-engineered the organization's business model, basically, and rescued it from insolvency, putting it on a very firm financial basis, or at least a firmer financial basis. And Gail Fugit expanded the membership base, bringing in many more advertisers to the organization, to the board, more members from the tech sector, from the West Coast, and from elsewhere around the United States, correcting some of the historic New York centricity of the ARF. And Gail also began to re-energize the ARF's research program in a significant way. And it's at that third point that I take my starting line, since it's my aim to expand the ARF's research program even more ambitiously. I think that the time is right for that, for some of the reasons that Jed was just outlining, and for the reasons that you will hear echoed through almost all of the conversations at the conference over the next 2 days. Perhaps more than ever before, our industry is rife with conflict and with uncertainty. At least some of this uncertainty and the resulting crisis of confidence can be ameliorated by disciplined research, by the propagation of quality standards, and by the trust and consensus that comes from transparency and scientific discourse. These goals are not new, and in fact, they are embedded in the founding document of the ARF, which was written when it was established by the ANA and the 4As back in 1936, 81 years ago. Let me quote from that vision statement, if I can separate the pages here. So there's a long list of objectives of the ARF in the founding document, but a few of them I think still are extremely relevant and resonant at our present moment. First, to further through research the scientific practice of advertising and marketing. Notice that they made no distinction between those two. Marketing or advertising is a subset of marketing. To collect and disseminate advertising and marketing research data and information. To analyze and evaluate existing research methods and to define their proper applications and the limits of their usefulness. To develop new research techniques. To establish criteria for the evaluation of research and for the reporting of all research studies. To recommend research standards. To encourage the highest levels of honesty and professional responsibility in the practice of research, to provide ways for interested parties to work together for the solution of common research problems. Sounds pretty relevant to me. That visionary leadership of the ANAs and the 4As from 81 years ago is, in my view, even more urgent now as the pace of technological change and of evolving consumer behavior has outstripped our ability to provide rational, disinterested guidance for the scientific practice of advertising and marketing in the 21st century. So when I think about the different things that the ARF does, the conferences that it runs, the networking opportunities that it affords, the member benefits that it bestows, I think of these things as important, but not necessarily unique to the ARF. After all, there are lots of conferences out there. There are lots of networking opportunities. There's LinkedIn. What's distinct and unique and vitally important about the ARF is its role in creating neutral, unimpeachable research to advance the practice of advertising and marketing. And I think that continues to need to be our true north. So I do think we have our work cut out for us. I know we have a lot of big, hairy, audacious problems, and some of these have been in the headlines lately, especially the problems of fraud and corruption in the digital advertising supply chain. But even if we cleaned up that pipeline and had perfect verification and perfect viewability, we would not have solved the problems of measuring ad exposures and marketing contacts across all consumer touchpoints, nor would we have reached consensus on how to estimate unduplicated reach and frequency, or of how to build a fully loaded ROI calculation. We sense that reach is not sufficient, that we need to engage consumers, but we've only begun to understand how to measure attention, engagement, and emotional response. We are awash in big data, but we as yet have only limited tools for harnessing it. I dare say that nearly every member company of the ARF is struggling right now with the best way to organize its data science functions, whether and how to integrate those with their conventional research functions, where are the best practices, what works, and what does not. Everyone is trying to figure out how to harness those data and intellectual assets to come up with the next breakthrough ad campaign, the next breakthrough marketing idea. We have a solid body of well-tested statistical theory for projecting from random samples to populations, but we remain tentative and uncertain about how to integrate data streams from differing sources when the sources are of varying quality and generalizability. So even if we admit, or if we could admit companies that work in this space to verify what they do and what they claim, we have insufficient knowledge about whether the methods and the algorithms produce valid results. So at the bleeding methodological edge of our field, we're often flying blind. We are not alone, fortunately, in facing these problems. In many fields and at many universities and research centers, scholars are tackling very similar methodological problems, though often in an entirely non-advertising context. In finance, in medicine, in statistics, in computer sciences, in defense and intelligence, in the social sciences. There's a lot of basic research that's going on that could aid in the solution of our problems. Part of what I'd like to do is to find ways of bringing that into our space so that we don't have to reinvent any wheels or shoulder the burden of solving some of these tough problems on our own. So we do have to be open to those inputs, and above all, we have to be brave. We won't make any real progress without making a concerted effort to engage in the hard work of scientific inquiry with all of the obligations of transparency that entails. That means publishing our methodologies in detail. It means reporting on null results as well as significant results. It means making our data sets available for analysis and replication by others. It means being willing to revise our opinions in the light of empirical findings rather than cherry-picking results to fit our preconceived opinions. It means engaging in honest dialogue and being open to new ideas. It means being brave. It's a great time to be brave, so let's begin. Thank you.